what do you do when your wake is taking taking a bunch of people out that are actually core and necessary to the business?
I think that that's usually why, entrepreneurs would say like, dude, I was in the game for 10 years before you saw the success, right? Because that they do it wrong in the beginning. And I'll speak for myself, is like when I went into the fitness industry, I opened up gyms, like I almost filed bankruptcy like 3 times, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I got kicked out of buildings that my name was on leases because I couldn't pay rent and all this stuff, where now they see me and see this, pretty epic business that I've created. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I wasn't a great leader back then, right? Because there's nuances of what I just said from sport that, like, you don't need to just, you don't need to run your people through the ringer and, make them hate life so that you could win a game on Saturday. That's not the end goal here, right? So as a leader, you need to harness, you need to be able to decipher, like, sporting analogy is good, but what translates to business and what doesn't. And so, for me, I think that I have some of those key people that have been with me from day one, right? Where they've been, like, some of them were kids training in my facility, where they've seen and they've been like, I believe in this, right? And so now they're rewarded very, very, very well, because they're like, they're core believers, right?
Yeah.
And if my business was struggling and we went through some stuff, they already went through it. So the next group of people we hire, we don't necessarily need to take them through all that stuff that we learned. It's like, cool, you're here now, and now is much greater than it was 5 years from now, and I'm a much better leader. And so I still think it goes back to core values, right?
Yeah.
For like us and our core values, like in our organization, we talk about winning a lot, right? And so give yourself permission to win is core value number one.
Yeah.
I need every single person on my team to give themselves permission to win. Core value number two is always represent your best self, right? So I expect people to show up, right? Not looking like crap on a Zoom meeting, to show up always as looking impeccable to themselves, right? And so, like, we agree on those things. So I don't hire somebody if they're on a Zoom meeting and they look, and this might sound clash with modern culture. It's like, I'm just a human being like we all are, and we're built to judge people in 4 seconds or less. So part of my core philosophy is making life easier. Well, let's stack the deck in our favor, right? Always represent your best self and watch how many doors open for you. That one thing will change your life, right? Give yourself permission to win, right? If you give yourself permission to want what you want and go for it unapologetically, more likely that you're going to have an epic life. And so, we can go down the line there, but if I know that, and my people know that now, that I'm not even hiring, they're hiring, say a coach wants to come coach for us, and a person shows up in a way, it's like, they're not a fit, John. It's like, they already know it. They know what to look for. And so, now business where it is now, I don't need to run people through the ringer. We're setting our core values. We know what they are. And so when someone is not a fit, they do not get hired now. And if we make the wrong hire, we make the right choice very quickly. They either adapt and adopt our core values, or we eat the mistake and say, hey, sorry, you're not a fit.
Yeah. That's a great answer to that question, is the core values will decide. And one of the first people I ever interviewed on the show, his name is Joey. Joey created this culture of really just winning. He created a winning culture 100%. And he's a big sports guy, 100%. Like, I'm sure that he's already heard about that, or heard some crazy stories about Urban Meyer and Belichick and these guys. And he told me that actually on the first episode of the show, Spark to Fire, and talked about how, like, he created those like core 5 to 10 people at the beginning, and they started making the culture their own, and they bought into those core values, even if they weren't written on the wall, even if they weren't something you said out loud every day. They bought into his mantra of how he runs and operates a business. And then they, like, start learning and making decisions based upon that. Like, it's an operating system. And they're saying, like, but that doesn't work in this command line. Like, that doesn't work here. And he said that of the turnover that they have had, 95% of it, the team is happier after the individual left, and they both knew that, like, that person was not going to last long here. And so it's just interesting to see that cultures can purposely chew up and spit out the wrong people, and, like, that's okay. And like that's an okay thing, because that person wouldn't have been happy there, and they need to go find where they are going to be happy and most fulfilled, so they can show up and be their best version and give them some permission to win.
Yeah, and that's the cool part is like they don't like you don't need to fit every culture, right? And so
No.
exactly what you said, that person would be better served to go into an environment that cultivated their passion and their belief system in a way that they could fully be themselves. They're going to give far more value in that organization than one that like they feel constricted or contradicted in their belief system. If someone doesn't like winning or
Right.
is competitive, like they can't be a part of Superhuman. They can't. There's no place for them because everything we talk about is winning and competing. So